Hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Dis-Cember, and today we're going to take a look at Motocrossed from 2001. Uh, I believe 2001 was the year where every month but one had a decom. I think that's what it was. We're going to see here. But this was one. This was actually one I watched back then. There were a few that I watched back then that I haven't talked about yet. Like, let's wait till we get to the list. But I think because I was watching almost every one when they were coming out because I really got into them, and then I just started picking and choosing. I was gonna start typing in list. I was about to type in Dis-Cember list of James Bond films. No. Yeah. Disney Channel original films. Okay. So we'll go down. Here we go. 2000. 2000 actually? How many? 1, 2. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. There was 2000 had one in every month. Up and Away, which I've already talked about. The Color of Friendship, which is one I never got into because it was so serious. I understand the the subject matter, but that's kind of why I didn't get into it. It's too serious. Alley Cat Strike. I don't think I ever saw that one. Rip Girls. I like surfing, and I complained that there was that they got rid of the surfing in Times for now. Maybe. Miracle in Lane 2. That was another one that was sort of serious. Stepsister from Planet Weird, which keeps popping up on Disney Plus. Ready to Run. Never seen that. Quince. That is one I saw. I don't know if I'll ever cover that. The Other Me. Mom's Got Hit with a Vampire in October. Phantom Megaplex in November. Ultimate Christmas Present. Stay tuned for that one. That's going to be a Christmas review. And then you get 2001. So we have Xenon as Equal. Covered that. Motocross. That's this one. The Luck of the Irish. Covered that. Hounded. Covered that. Jet Jackson the movie. Covered that. The Jenny Project. No. Jumping Ship. Covered that. The Proof Point. I haven't covered that, though. I've always wanted to kind of check that one out. Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. You know Calabar's not in the movie. Covered that. Double Teamed. That's a basketball one about twins. I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one, but I wasn't. Yeah. And then, so then, uh, what? Oh, we're in 2002 now. So Double Teamed, January. Cadet Kelly is March. April is True Confession. There's no February, and then they skip May, and we have Get a Clue in June. July, we have Gotta Kick It Up, which I did watch when it premiered. Endless Light, I skipped, but I just reviewed that. Scream Team in October. Then there's nothing for the rest of the year. And then in 2003, you got You Wish in January, nothing in February, Right on Track in March, which was weird because I swear March was the month that they just played a bunch of Disney Channel original movies. I don't know. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, even Steven's movie in June, there's a big jump there. July 18th is Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. August is the Cheetah Girls. Full Court Miracle in November. So we're just jumping around now. And then you get 2004, you go January, March, June, July, August, October. And then we cut to January. Yeah, they weren't doing. So it was like 2 years they did, 12 a year. And then they just sort of stopped. They're like, we can't do that no more, But so I always thought March was. They said the March Madness, and that was always when they'd play a bunch of. There wasn't, I don't know. But hold on, let me get the Motocrossed clicked on. So Motocrossed is a movie that if it came out now, everyone would scream woke. They would. They would scream woke. Oh, it's a woman and doing a motocross. Oh, it's woke. Back then, It was just a movie. And that's why I say things really changed to the point where you had movies like this that were coming out back then and it was fine. Though, I feel like if this movie came out today, it would be a little more ham-fisted, a little more forced in the female thing where she's, they don't actually mention, she just wants to race. They don't actually mention the first female motocross racer thing to the end of the movie. She just wants to race. It's not about the fact that she's a girl, though that plays into it. She just wants to race, right? It's not like she's saying, I'm a girl, I should race. She does say something to the effect of, you don't want me to race because I'm a girl, so it's more on her dad's side. And, I've been noticing this. Magical Rewind, they point this out, and I never really got it watching all these. Yeah, there's a whole thing about bad decom parents, especially bad decom dads, and this is 2 in a row. We had Johnny Tsunami's dad, Chosen. He was very bad. He sucked. And in both movies, it's the mom who has to kind of stand up to the dad. That's the kind of thing that continued from Johnny Tsunami, I guess. But, yeah. So we have Andy, at Carson. And she wants to just wants to race. Her dad won't give her the time of day because she's a girl. He doesn't believe that, she should be racing. She's played by Elena Austin, who 5 years from this point would still be playing a teenager in the movie Pop Star with Aaron Carter. But she would also be in a movie called Supercross, but she would have like a minor role. And boy, the beginning of this movie is kind of rough because she's so obviously wearing a wig because she has to cut her hair to be the brother. And there's a point where I thought it might be a wig. Maybe if there was reshoots, it is a hairpiece, or she grew her hair back out. I don't know. But the beginning of this, when she has the long hair, that's gotta be a wig. It looks way too long for her head. I don't know. It's gotta be. I couldn't find anything, but it's gotta be a wig at the beginning of this. Because it looks ridiculous. It really does. The whole story here is that their parents are going to go out, leaving the kids home alone. And what do? Well, you mess around. But here, she and her brother go, motocross racing, and he ends up injured, which pisses off Daddy. But, he's a dick, so who cares, So now he's got to go find another racer to fill in. So he's got to go out of the country, I guess, to do it. It's just an excuse to get him out of the way so that Andrea, can cut her hair and disguise herself as her brother and sneak out to do this. Now, I do like the scene because we have, let's see, AJ Buckley plays Jimmy Bottles, who owns the motocross store. And this is such a funny ass scene because, she comes in, they do the thing where she puts the hand on backwards in the glass. Yo, what's up? I need some parts or whatever. And he's like, yeah, but I'll just get some boots. They say it like that, boots. I need boots because she needs her own boots apparently. And she takes off, and then the real Andy comes in with the mom, and he's like, "Dude, what happened to your leg? You were just walking a minute ago. What are you talking about? You didn't have the crutches a minute ago." He's like, okay. Did you find the boots? I don't need boots. I just need the parts. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. He leaves, and then Andy leaves. She comes back with the boots. He comes back out. Whoa! Holy disappearing crutches. Huh? He's like, yeah. Oh, are those the boots? She goes, I gotta go. I'll be right back. So she goes to hide, and then they come back in. He's okay. It's $500. $500. Parts are $500. Oh no, the boots are $300. $300 for racing boots? Huh? Now, my thought, and this is completely from a parent's point of view, as someone who spends money. As a kid, I don't know if it would have crossed my mind, but I'd been 13. Here I'm sitting there thinking, how was she going to get away with paying how does she have $300 to pay for the boots? Is my question. But eventually, Eddie and the younger brother, Jason, played by Scott Terra, with a dye job, because he's not blonde, but they dyed him blonde. By the way, the jeans on the kids just got bitch smacked by the mom's jeans, because they're all blonde. They're all blonde, and the dad has dark hair, so he's got all bitch slapped by the mom's jeans. So she goes to sneak out and is caught by the mom, who says you're not going to do it. But then after talking to the youngest brother about it, she's like, okay, you know what? We're going to do this. The mom, by the way, is played by Mary Margaret Humes, who was the mom on, apparently she was on Dawson Creek, but that's not. The mom on Erie, Indiana, that's what I care about. Yeah. Erie, Indiana, which is a better show than Dawson Creek. I said it because I don't want to wait for the show to be over because you're boring. I don't know. I've watched Dawson Creek a couple times. It's fine. It was just a joke. Anyway, I don't want to wait for the song to be over. I'm changing the channel and watching Power Rangers. Anyway, back then it probably was my attitude. Anyway, so they decide to do the race thing, and they go, and she meets Dean, played by Riley Smith, who you may know from stuff. He was in the TV remake of Frequency. He was the Dennis Quaid role. But they replaced Jim Caviezel with a girl. Woke! I don't know. Frequency. Yeah. And the film Frequency. So what's the characters in that movie were named? Frank Sullivan and John Francis Sullivan. So what were the characters' names in this one? Ramey Elizabeth Sullivan. Ramey, huh? Francis Joseph Frank Sullivan. That was the dad's name in the movie, right? We just looked at it. They just named her differently, right? Frank Sullivan, John. So she couldn't be Jean Francis Sullivan? No, she's got to be Ramey Elizabeth Sullivan. Ramey. Really, the female version of John is Jane. They could just call her Jane. That's whatever. But he was I guess he's been in True Blood 24, 90210, Drive, and Nancy Drew. I don't know. He's good in this. He's good in this. And so he's Dean, and he's the racer for, what was it, Henderson Racing Company, and he's got a crush on this girl named Farron. Oh, something in my throat. Jezebel. Don't need to cover it up. Ooh, he's got a thing for her. She's obviously the, it's like, she won't give Dean the time of the day until she finds out he has NSYNC tickets, which really aged this movie. So you have NSYNC tickets? I'll go with you. Like, boom. Right there. I'd been like, no. And I know love is blind, and so he's got a thing for her, but if that happened, we're like, my buddy, supposed to be my buddy, helped me with these tickets, because she got them for herself, and now she's like, she can't go because she got to do the racing thing. So she gives them to him to take Farron out. Farron. I knew a guy named Farron. It's like, I squeaked. Like, as soon as she's like, "Oh, I'll go with you now," I'd be like, "No way." I'm sure Andy would have been like, "What?" But, hey, she wouldn't give me the light of day, the time of day. Now that I have NC tickets, you'll go with me? No thanks. You're stuck up and conceited, and you only care about money, material things. Bye. But this is a movie, so you gotta go with it. So, yeah. Also, Mark Curry is in this movie. He has a small role of Bob Arness. Yeah, he's there, I guess. So anyway, the whole point is they're trying to do this race because the reason she has to race is because they pushed it back pushed ahead 2 weeks, right? That they don't even say it in here, but I think it's like it got pushed back because pushed ahead because for some reason. So if they don't register, then they can't register. They can't race. So she has to do this. That's why she's doing it. So, and the whole family is supporting her except for one person. We'll get to him, but yeah, she forms this friendship with Dean, and of course, this is very 2000s, late 90s, where it's like you gotta have a scene because it's a girl, so you have to have a scene where guys take their shirts off and and by the way, because you had these movies like this before, like just one of the guys, or the Corey Haim movie, just one of the girls, or even later with the Amanda Bynes movie. What was it called? I'm gonna have to look it up. Amanda Bynes. She's the Man. Kind of like that movie. Only that was football. Football. It was football, not racing. But it's around the same thing, right? It's about that. What are the other ones I said? Just one of the guys. Just one of the guys is a good movie. Okay? And I'm not just saying that because there's tits in it. It's a good movie. It's a good 80s film, We don't go that far because this is Disney, but you got that joke where he's like, "Hey, let's jump in the water wheel. Take your shirt off." No, that's cool. So she just jumps in fully clothed because that's what you got to do, Not that would not be in a Disney Channel movie now, or any Disney movie now. That's the sign of the times. They wouldn't have that joke here now, but But yeah. So I'm watching this, and it's been a while since I've watched this. Been at least 10 years. I know for sure I watched this during the 2016 marathon. I made a habit to try to watch all the ones I've seen. Hounded, this, and they were going in order. So yeah, I was pretty sure I watched it back then, at least 10 years ago. Well, it's almost 10, right? So I was trying to remember because I know there's a love interest thing between them, but how does it work if you think it's a guy the whole time? I know just one of the guys pulled it off, and that's where it kind of equals that. You know what I mean? Not to pull it off. Well, we get some shit here because the dad comes back and he's pissed and he don't want to hear it. They try to talk to him. He's like, "No, we'll talk later. Let's go." Just leave. I'm just gonna leave. Yeah, and he's pissed and he won't hear it. And they're like, "But she's really good." "No, I don't care. I don't want her racing. I don't want her to do it." So they found a replacement. It's this jackass Frenchman named Rene Cartier by Michael Cuneo. I don't know. He's an asshole. Or an asshole? Like Hancock, asshole? Call me asshole one more time. Asshole. Oh. Yeah. Like, so he's hired this guy more hands than anyone, and this is where I really started getting frustrated with this dad, because it's like the writing too. Like we know it's gonna end up with Andrea. When I say Andy, just think I'm talking about her. Okay, if I'm gonna talk about the brother, it's Andrew. All right, I haven't talked about him much, but I say the brother is what I've been calling him. So yeah, Andy, it's gonna end with Andy being the one that races, but you gotta get there. And this movie, the runtime here is 92 minutes. Not bad runtime, but it does feel like they had to stretch a little bit, because just with making the dad so unbearably, like, so frustrating. Because, like, he refuses to let her race, so they hired this guy that no one knows, by the way. Nobody knows who he is. Just bring him in, this guy. He takes her room because I have to sleep on this side of the place so the sun doesn't sit on the side of the house so the sun doesn't raise and get me in the face in the morning. Le fuck you, okay? What the hell? What the hell is that? Close the blinds! They don't have blinds in your room? Curtains? No? That's the first thing I said was, does he have no curtains or blinds in the guest room or something? And why does he have to specifically stay at the house? Why can't he go to a hotel? Anyway, so he starts racing for them, and she gets an argument with him. Because, like, she goes over to... So, there's funny ha-ha moments because... I'm standing here going, why did she go out there with them? She's dressed like a girl again. So, like... she's standing there next to Andrew, and Dean comes up with Farron. Fallon? Farron. Is it Farron? Farron. The hoe. Ends up with her, and she hides her. Hey, you gotta be me. You gotta be me. You gotta be me being you, and put the goggles over me. He's like, oh hey, what's up? Hey, I mean, you're like, oh, just tweaked an old injury. We got a new guy to replace me. So yeah, I saw that. He's a little bit, He said, oh, this is my sister, and he's like, man, you guys look so alike. Well, we are twins. I guess they're twins. Like, oh, okay. So now he sees her and is like, something weird. So then Andy catches douchebag, coming out of the Henderson truck and confronts him about it. The dad shows up and tells him to stop arguing, but she says he was coming out of the Henderson truck. And he goes, oh, I just went there to see the competition. He gave me a tour. She goes, I know that he doesn't do that because in an earlier scene, when she was in there with Dean, he said, no, we don't want no competition here, get him out. Now she knows. But of course, Dad's like, whatever, go away, go, no. And tells her to apologize to him. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. Not yet. She's going to find them arguing. Okay. But the other three then the family basically confront him. It's like, hey, you've been treating her like crap, you know. And this guy, they all say, hey, this guy usually the creeps. There's something off about him, you know. And he tries to defend himself, but it doesn't. They're like, no, you've been, you know, she's trying to help out the family, and you're treating her like crap, and yeah. So that I guess she actually goes to apologize, which ends up in a because he's an asshole. It ends up in a pushing. He pushes her, and that's when the dad's like, okay, you don't push my kid. It's like I said in the Nobody 2 review. You don't hit my kid, especially if it's a daughter. You don't hit my no. You're not hitting my kid and getting out of there. Yeah, she's saying that she was only trying to help her family, and Cuddy tells her back off, shoving. It says he shoves Carter back in retaliation. That does not happen. He doesn't push him back. He just comes out and gets in between them and says, hey, you're fired. And like that, we find out that he's like, oh, we'll get to it. So they have a walk and they talk it out, and he decides, hey, you're gonna ride. So yeah. So they go back, and I think I can do the rest without this thing. So they go back and they tell everyone she's going to drive for us. And they're like, we just put everything away. How are we going to get everything ready in time? And the brother say, hey, we got this. You know, teaming up to make progress. This is not Zombies 2. We got this. And so they montage and then put it together, and she's going to race for him. Right? So now she's fine, and she's got to be Andy again. And it's like, she talks to Dean, and he's like, hey, can I talk to you about your sister? Is there a way you can talk to her? And he's like, what about Farron? She's like, oh, and literally they show like her holding McDouchebag's hand. Like, like this guy's gonna make him a lot of money, so she jumped to the neck. Yeah. My cough's coming back. Yeah, she doesn't care. She just about the money. Right? So, the race is on. We have the race, and it's neck and neck, and, well, Cartier crashes and burns, and she wins. And immediately afterwards, Cartier confronts her. Like, hey, maybe you should ask Andrew yourself. And they're like, okay. And he's like, no. The real answer is right there. And I did laugh because he's like, I'm just going to be another guy in the stands. Before the race happened, he puts on a hat and sunglasses. That's a disguise. No, I'm just a guy who took a bump. And they're like, okay, come on. That's him. And, well, if that's the guy from Henderson is like, if that's Andrew, then who's that? That's my daughter. Andrea takes the helmet off. And immediately Dean's like, he's like put off by this. And it's like, well, they should be disqualified because a girl can't race. Should be somewhere in the rule book. And the mom comes up and goes, no, I just looked in the rule book and it says nothing about that. It says nothing about girls not being able to race. Well, she's not registered. Actually, she is. Andy Carson, short for Andrea. And so they asked Mark Curry, they're like, well, does this count? Do they still get the sponsorship? And he's like, And then the lady comes up. It's Aloma Wright. It's what's her face from Scrubs. She goes up. Let me answer that. She's the one in charge. He's like, well, are you gonna let her get the sponsorship? And the way they started out, like, are you kidding me? After all she did, pretending to be a man, being a woman in a man's sport, and winning the competition, how could I not give it to her? They made a big deal out of that. So it's like, she's the first female winner. And this is the only time they really push that. Where if they came out now, they push it to the moon. So yeah, we're not quite done yet. So they win, they celebrate, they got the full sponsorship. The whole family gets the sponsorship. And so then a little while later, they're discussing things, and the mom comes in and goes, "Hey, so because I think she's a 125. They said we have enough money, we can hire a 250 driver." Like, oh, well, when do we start auditioning? Well, actually, there's someone outside, and you just knew who it was because like there's someone outside. Andrea, why don't you go and talk to him? And you just see the brother kind of look at her and smile because you know who it is going to be. She goes out, and of course, it's Dean. He's like, "Hey, I heard you're looking for a 250 rider. I wonder if I could, do that." She goes, "Oh, you want to try out?" He's like, "Try out?" "Well, yeah, you're not going to let you join. You didn't think we were going to let you join, did you?" "I don't know." "Well, here's the deal. You beat me, and you can be a 250 rider." So it ends with them doing a race. We don't see who wins, much like at the end of Justice League with the Flash and Superman. But, yeah, that's how it ends. So, yeah, I'll give it a low pretty good. It's not bad. It still holds up for me. And like I said, if they made it now, though, it'd be way over the top with the female rider aspect. They'd really push it. Especially since this is Disney. But this was 2000. It's 25 years ago. Every time I think of that, because then I have to think that I was 25 years since I was 13. I'm getting old. So what are your thoughts on Motocrossed? And look how so make sure like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, that's the end of my short list. So I really don't know what I'm going to do now. Well, I was going to do some... These were on the table. I'll show you them. Because I bought these. But I think I'm going to do them as extras. In fact, as bonus ones for this month. In fact, you probably would have already seen them up on the channel. Because I'll probably put them up there. Figure out what day. Like the first 3 Wednesdays. I got to figure out a calendar. Because I'm also going to do the 12 days of Christmas. And when that starts, I'll figure out. I don't want that to overlap with. But we'll see. But so I got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 more movies to figure out. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.